This podcast is hosted in collaboration with the Comsmith, the Peterborough podcast. We're sharing stories about why Peterborough is a great place to work, live, and play.
We've tried to create a community space where you can come and access lots of different things that are, quite important socially now. And the gym space is obviously a big pull for us here. The tattoos, the barber shop, the bar, the coffee shop, they're all things that socially, a big proportion of not just youth, but people right through. I think it services a wider demographic, which we've not had here in this city particularly. I know we touched on it earlier, but you have to go to the big cities, and Peterborough is going that way, but you have to go to your London, your Manchester, your Leeds, places like that to even find anything remotely the same as this place.
Because, like you say, it doesn't. It's almost, when I was coming in here and you showed me, I was almost like, it doesn't look like Peterborough.
Yeah.
So there was that the vibe you wanted, something completely
Yeah,
different.
no, absolutely. Because I think, we live in a world now that's real social media driven. You have to have something that people, especially young people, you have to have something that looks right aesthetically. You have to have something that's practical. You've got a lot of boxes to tick. It has to be financially set at the right price point, because look, we picked this up and dropped it in London, we'd have no problem, but in Peterborough we have to service the need of the people that live in this city. So and I think as well now you've got people are a lot more wary, or a lot more concerned about how they spend their money, where they spend it at, what they spend it on. So I think we've tried to, offer a real wide range of activities and social space that suit a lot of different people.
When did you come up with this concept? What was the genesis of it? How long ago did you come up with this? And was it always, obviously, with what you've called it, and we do have a redevelopment going on at the railway station as well, was it always sort of part of that, or what was the thinking behind it?
I mean, call it fate, call it coincidence, but there's 6 shareholders involved in this project. Lee Tilbrook, who had Electric Workshop over at Westgate House, he's one of the shareholders. Dan Wilson, Laura Green. I'm in business with those guys anyway. Verity is one of our friends, and my son Dylan, who's also a shareholder. We were speaking about this for years, and obviously I'd been into the tattooist with Lee, and we'd been speaking about how cool it'd be to have this in, like the gym and the barbers and the tattooist all in one space. And we were actually looking at Quayside originally for the old engine rooms that we wanted to buy and restore, because we do that through our other business. So we were best placed to do that. It's a listed building over there. So our focus and attention was over Fletton Quays development.
Yeah.
Because we just thought, actually, if the council ever decide that the bridge is going to go over the Nene and that will join the city centre to Fletton, that would be a great spot for us to put something like this in. And it had to be the right building. And me and Laura actually came and looked at this building probably 2 years ago. We had an appointment with the agent to come and look at the building, and something happened that cancelled the appointment, and then it kind of got pushed under the table for a little while. And then Lee Tilbrook, the tattooist, he texted me one day and just said, would you be interested in looking at this building like this come up? And I was like, wow, we made an appointment to look at this place a year ago. So spoke again with Dan and Laura. They were really keen to invest in Gentlemen and Rogues, and see where we could take that. We had a really good brand. We were over in Yaxley. We only had 1,000 square foot, but the Barbers was on our mez floor. So we all came together. We made an appointment with the agent. As soon as we walked into this place, we were like, wow, and this used to be NHS. So if you ever come here when it was the NHS had the lease, it would have been all stud walls, partitions, like it would not have looked anything like this. But because it was stripped back to its original state, which is part of the tenancy agreement, when we come in, all the exposed arches and the brickwork, and it just had that really good industrial feel that we like you had to visualize it. And we looked from the front door down here and the place looked huge. I mean, it's 8,500 square feet. And we're like, this would be brilliant. This would be the spot. So, we were back and forward with a landlord and trying to get everything in place with the tenancy agreement. So this has been a long time coming. A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of emotion. Financially and emotionally, it's been hard because we're all independent people. We don't have no backing financially from anyone. We've done this because we're passionate about our field of expertise, and we in our hearts and our heads, it just worked. And actually, when it's been open for a couple of weeks. I come and did the fit out. Me and Lee were down here every day. We've had some fantastic contractors as well involved here. But the day it opened and we stood at the end there with people coming in and having coffee and having a drink, and like we just knew we'd made the right decision. Everything flows so well through here. And yeah, I've said it many times since we opened, but I hope that people in Peterborough feel the same, because I know for myself, I've grown up here. 30 years ago, this place was fantastic socially. And I know it's changed slightly now. When I was a kid, we had social clubs. That was the focal point of the weekend. My kids now, they go out, they have coffee, they go to the gym, they work out at the gym, they go and they sit and have coffee. So it was important to create that space that we could bring people in and feel that it was personable and it wasn't just a big chain. And, I think we've succeeded in doing that. And like I said, we've had nothing but positive feedback. So
how many people have been visiting, and what you said about the feedback? What sort of things have people said? Because I imagine a lot of people are just blown away that they didn't even sort of imagine something like this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, exactly what you were saying earlier. People come through that front door and they don't feel like they're in Peterborough, which I don't. There's some fantastic independent businesses in this city. They just need to be supported, and I think that for me is important. I think we are an independent. We need people to come in and use the space, but also we have the ability to adapt the need. So we're listening to what people are saying, and we're about, you should do this, or you should have this as a social space. There's been a lot of talk about corporate memberships, and I think we will take that all on board and adapt. I think over the next 6 months, this place will change and grow organically to suit who's using it.
You're on your website, it says it's a new destination of training, recovery, creativity and connection, which I thought was quite a strong start to a sentence. Tell us about that. I mean, you said recovery. I mean, I assume it's not just about obviously you have something to help people recover from injuries and etc.
Yeah.
But the vibe I get is it's more than that. It's about sort of recovering maybe your own well-being, or having a space to relax.
I think absolutely. I think that, and that's what I was saying. Now everything is so under the microscope, and I think commercially we have a sports clinic in here. We have it's not a commercial gym. So you're not going to come in here and push 200 kg or squat 200 kg. You know, you're going to come in here, you're going to have a good workout. There's lots of functional training equipment here for strength and conditioning. But the real key thing for me is that you can start at one end with your rehabilitation and you can come right through to having a really good workout with the functional training stuff. Everything is very organic and sustainable. Even the equipment we put in there that's all Nord, that is self-propelled or water propelled. Things like that are important. You know, then you can come down to the ice bath, you can have your cold water therapy, you're going to be able to have your sauna. So, and then you can have a shower and come and have a coffee, a pastry, you know, or if it's into the evening, you can have a drink with friends, family. And I think that is all geared towards well-being and recovery. And, you know, we're not, the gym and the memberships have been a big focus. You don't need to be a member to come in here and use the bar, have a coffee, use a remote working space. That is very much open to the public. And they're the things that are key with emotional well-being, and we'll tap into that sort of thing as we get further down the line. I've been speaking to a few groups now that want to come in and speak about mental health in the workplace. And, you know, I think it's so important now with today's society and how it is under the microscope with social media that these things or places like this are available. And, you know, this is a passion for us all. We have to pay the bills. Like, you know, that's the business side of it. But the energy that's gone into creating this has been phenomenal. And I think, you know, you can feel it when you come in here. And that's a lot of the feedback that we've been getting. It's very personal. It's not like going to a chain or a commercial place where you just tap in your card on the entrance door and going in. No one speaks to you. You know, you come in that door, you're greeted, you're shown around. Any questions that you need answering, they are answered. So we feel that we're doing our due diligence in terms of what people need, what they command, and yeah, I think in terms of a social space, this will just get better and better.
You touched on it a little bit slightly earlier on about Peterborough as a whole. I mean, obviously you think Peterborough needed this. What Peterborough is a place to live and work, etc. What were your thoughts on that? You've mentioned how it changed, how it was different from 30, 40 years ago. What would you say about that?
I mean, I think some things have changed that are very positive. We're a very multicultural city. We're like, you know, I think that there's little pockets of subcultures and communities that are going on that you would have anywhere in any other big city. Mm-hmm. And I think it's about embracing that and trying to bring everyone into one place, you know, rather than having those subsectors where no one actually is kind of interlinked. And I think we wanted to create that place where we were kind of, I guess, inclusive, and we wanted to offer that out to everyone. And I think that was part of the key reason of coming into a city centre location, so that we were easily accessible, and that we could offer something to everyone.
Yeah, it's when I've done podcasts before, and I've done lots now about Peterborough. It's never difficult to sell Peterborough, but it's just getting people to listen to it and to be a bit more optimistic about it.
Exactly.
And maybe these are the sort of places that, you know.
Do you know what, John? My thing with Peterborough is it gets such bad press, you know, for a number of different reasons. But I think as a city, there's so much potential. And I think for us, you know, as well as the people that live here enjoying the space, we want to say to people on the surrounded areas, look, we've got this place. Come have a look around, come and enjoy the space, come and see that actually there's good things going on here, that they just need to be supported. And they're not, you know, you don't need to go to the affluent areas to see it. It's happening here locally. So
there we are. So what are the short-term ambitions of here? So let's say in the next year or so. I mean, obviously you'll have you've listened to people and people have made suggestions about things. What are the short term ambitions then? Do you think over the next few months?
I think, yeah, short-term ambitions are, I think, to grow the community.
Mhm.
That's really important to us.
It's got quite a strong. You mentioned social media already. There's a
Yeah,
quite a strong community there, isn't there? You've got
there's a
several
big,
thousand followers.
really good presence, and I think it's just getting it out there to people that are probably not so much interested in social media, but
Mm.
getting them in the door and showing them what we've got to offer. I think, there's, like I touched on earlier, there's a lot of different things we want to push in here. We want to try and be involved with the local council in terms of youth groups, in terms of support networks.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different avenues, John, and I think obviously the old Station Quarter, which is the name of this place, was a nod to the history of the building.
Mm.
Obviously, we know that the station is going to be developed, so I think we're hoping to bring people that are just off the train, maybe just visiting the city, to show them that there's something positive here, and we hope that it's a bit of a snowball effect, and that, like, people look at what we're doing and go, do you know what? We need to be involved in this. We need to put this city on the map in terms of a destination, not just because we've got a passport office or a cathedral. They're the two main attractions, which are great. Look, I love the cathedral. I go and sit on the cathedral in the summer with my kids and have a coffee. But I think we needed more than that. I feel like there's a lot of businesses that probably are looking short term, and we have the lease here for 10 years. We have not tried to do a smash and grab here. We have got the lease for 10 years. For us, this is about building for the future. So, if it carries on being received as it started, then we're hoping in 10 years time that, the university is bigger. This place is full of students. The remote working grows.
Mm.
The gym is accessible to a wider demographic. And people come in, enjoy the bar, the coffee shop. Gareth, from being around in the city centre as well, it's the best. This coffee shop opened in Cathedral Square during COVID,
Mm.
when you had Starbucks, Cafe Nero, you had all the big hitters in terms of chains, and still the best coffee in
Yeah, he's done
Peterborough.
really well. Gareth's a great
So,
guy as well.
I
Yeah.
think supporting people like him is how this city grows and becomes strong again, with independent
Mm.
businesses that actually support each other. And I
Mm.
think that's where we see our growth, and it's happening already. The interest here has been phenomenal. Like I say, a lot of local business, and in terms of competition, I think we want to join. We want to be part of that, so that we're working together to create this momentum, which is important. It's important in business. It's important in structure. It's important in community, and I think that is what's missing, really,
The
now.
community sort of link, do you mean? Or...
Absolutely, yeah. Because you have, like I say, it's so diverse, this city, and actually, if you pulled everyone together, what a place you'd have. And what like, we've got the guys across the road there that come over. The food is amazing. We've been speaking to these guys about doing something in terms of providing us food for a special kind of themed night in here, like we have to a number of other different businesses. Like the options are endless. They just need to be tapped into, and I think that starts with the strength in the community, because that's how it's supported.
Okay. Um, Imagine we're standing here in 10 years' time. Then let's say we did short. I said short term. What would you like? How would you envisage this as a perfect scenario for 10 years' time?
There's probably a few more of these. dotted around that
Really? So you
people
think
can
you hope you can expand after this?
100%. I think we have something that's very unique.
Yep.
I think obviously depending on the demographics, things will have to adapt. But you know, again, that's the beauty of being independent. We can listen to opinions and we can make those changes. Or our hands are not tied. So you know, we're not trying to pick up the slack for an old station quarter that's in Leeds or Manchester or London. You know, we are here and we're saying, look, this is what we can offer. This is what we can provide. You tell us what we should do different, and that's what we'll do.